Heroes, villains, a tale as old as time, and the never-ending battle to protect truth and justice from those who thrive on chaos and bloodshed. Come with us as we peel back the mask on your beloved Crusaders of Light and dive deep into the dark and twisted abyss of the most feared and hated harbingers of doom. Follow your host, Power Maximus, and everyone's favorite demigod, Lord Triage, as they take a trip down the rabbit hole that is everything super. So, are you a hero or a villain? Either way, find that super suit and suit up for the Super Breakdown. Hello. Welcome back. God, we've missed you.
Oh, yeah.
You guys know what it is. You know what we're here for. It is I, the one, the only, Power Maximus. And I would like to welcome all our level 7s back for year 2 of the Super Breakdown. You know, we are back. We're coming to you live from WMG headquarters. You know what it is, the home of the wolf and the spider. I'm Power Maximus, and I'm here with the one, the only, everyone's favorite arachnid demigod, Lord Triage.
What up?
What's up, brother? Welcome back. We are at it again. And ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot for you today. We've been working on this for quite some time, trying to figure out how we're going to come in and bring in this new year and this new, idea and bring you guys new content and stuff. Me and Triage, we've been racking our brains, and here we are. We feel like we got it. As you guys just saw as we were coming in, this is our new intro trailer, produced by moi. Guys, it's great to be back. I'm super excited. Oh man, what do you think, Triage, man? What do you think we got going on?
I'm ecstatic, man. We got a lot of content ready to share with you guys. A lot of things we're going to go over and talk about. And I want to forewarn people that things going to be a little different this year opposed to last year with our material and how we handle it.
Yup. Tell them what it is. We're going be straight with you guys. We're just doing us. You know, last season we was doing a lot of censoring and not really speaking our true and full thoughts. But I feel like it really wouldn't be a podcast and we wouldn't really be doing our jobs, without giving you guys a straight up us raw answers. So with that being said, to be honest, we love hearing from you guys, but trigger warning for the rest of this season. We're going to talk about some things that might not be comfortable with, but that's completely fine. You do not have to listen. You can, sign off for a quick second and come back when we're done talking about it. We don't mind. Everyone has their own opinion, and that's perfectly fine. But now, here we are, 2023. Let's rock it. First up, we are gonna do something every week or every other week. We're going to have the issue of the week. And would you like to introduce our viewers to this new segment of ours, Lord Triage?
Okay, so what the issue of the week is, it's something that we're going to go over that we feel is prudent in society or in cultural and media that we need to address, or things that might not be going well that should be acknowledged.
Yep. And again, this is where we're talking about, if you don't want to listen, that's completely fine, but we gonna talk. You know, I know one thing that's got me, and especially within pop culture, that I feel is an issue, and I feel like we all can agree on this. And this is gonna lead us into our next segment, but for me, my issue of the week is what in the hell are they thinking about? First, they're getting rid of everyone. They got rid of Gal Gadot, DC. They got rid of Cavell. Ray Fisher, he's been gone. Yet these are all people who were so down with the company, down with the product, and ready to go. And you screw them over, you let them go, but you keep Ezra Miller,
That cunt.
the man that literally just broke in. If I'm not mistaken, as of the 11th, he pleaded guilty for burglary charges in Vermont. Man, burglary and larceny. Come on now, trespassing, burglary, and larceny. Like how? So you can rock with that, right? With him breaking into a liquor store, stealing this man's alcohol, and then trying to evade police. Come on. But you keep him, and you keep Amber Heard, right? But you get rid of Henry Cavill after allowing him to be brought back for Black Adam. Like, come on now. Like that just don't make sense. Why not keep the people that are actually doing the right thing, not bringing you negative publicity? Like they have a whole movie that they're probably gonna have to scrap because ain't nobody gonna go see it.
Eh,
Nobody's gonna go see this Flash movie. Like I would like to. I want to see it, but will I waste my hard earned, green paper? No. I don't think it's worth my money if they're gonna pull it that way. And
well,
actually, yeah, it's just I don't know, man. I don't know, man.
I mean, I was never impressed by Ezra Miller's performance as the Flash in the first place.
Oh,
That was
absolutely not.
that's just me. And then it's like they've done so little with revealing what's going on in that movie. I mean, we get that we got Michael Keaton back as Batman, which we were all thrilled about, and we got to
Yep,
see the
yep.
older version of him. But it's like we still don't know who the hell is playing Zoom or who the villain is. If the villain
Exactly.
even is Zoom.
Like because I'm gonna be really, 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 really pissed off if I do decide to spend money on this movie and it's just a live action version of the Flashpoint paradox.
I wouldn't hate that. That animated one was great, but
Yeah, the animated one was great, but again, we just saw it on CW.
oh, that CW didn't do that story justice.
No, they didn't. But it's like we come on, give us something new. Give us something new because, like, all as much as I again, I'll say this. I love DC's stories more than I love the Marvel stories, but it's like a lot of the real good, strong storylines are the ones that are leading up to a crisis, into the crisis events.
True.
And we've already seen 3 crisis events on CW. The Elseworld, because Flashpoint will count as a crisis. Will count Flashpoint as a crisis. So Flashpoint, we saw them do Flashpoint. We saw them do Elseworld. We saw them do Infinite Earths, which is a big one.
Yes.
I feel like that's something that should have been saved for the screen.
Are you counting the whole Earth X thing with the Nazis?
Nah, I would have liked to see the Nazis. They didn't show us the Nazis. I would have been fine seeing the Nazis. Because at least that would be something different. That would have been something different. Something that, let's say, it's not something that the people asked for, but it's something that they knew they wanted to see. It's one of those situations. It's like they don't need it, but they're gonna like it when they get it, kind of thing. But I don't know. I just feel like they're making the wrong moves, man. They're making the wrong moves. They already have a tainted product to begin with. We'll just say it that way. After everything that they did with Zack Snyder and shit like that. Now, I was expecting more from James Gunn. I was expecting way more from James Gunn. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I'll give him this bit of leeway. If this is one of those things where he had his idea of who should have played those characters, I'm not going to lie. All the people who are the original Justice League members would not have been people who I would have picked to play them characters. I wouldn't have picked Gal Gadot to play Wonder Woman.
Oh, absolutely not. Everybody, yeah, she did. Everybody wanted Ronda Rousey.
Nah, I couldn't have seen that.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do a Rousey. But out of everyone, they picked Gail. Why?
And she knocked it out the park, so I give her that.
Absolutely, she held it down. I feel like she really brought the character life. Like, and honestly, I got used to a slimmer, a slimmer version of Wonder Woman, because it showed that you don't have to be like a super muscular, masculine woman in order to protect the world or be a superhero. She was thin. She was very petite, but she kicked ass.
And she
I love. Oh yeah, and yeah. But on top of that, I appreciate the work that Gail put in outside, because she actually went through the ropes training and did all these other trainings to make sure that she's able to do most of her stunts herself. So I most definitely appreciate the what she brought to the role. Jason Momoa, that was kind of the given. To be honest, I was expecting him to pick The Rock. I'll be honest, when they first made that, started doing that, I was expecting The Rock.
To be Aquaman?
Yeah. I thought that's the way they were gonna go.
You thought they were gonna make The Rock Aquaman?
Uh-huh.
Oh God. I can only picture him coming out the water and raising his eyebrow.
And the work, you know what? I'm glad they didn't, because I couldn't imagine him pulling the shit that he's pulling now and just like walking in and just taking over roles, taking over movie franchises, pissing off the other actors. Yeah, because anytime The Rock touches a franchise, that's his now. That's his.
And the aspect of what?
Like,
don't you dare say Fast and the Furious, because everyone agrees that Fast and the Furious should have ended 3 movies ago.
Fast and the Furious shouldn't have went past Tokyo Drift. And some would say it shouldn't have gotten to Tokyo Drift. 1 and 2 was perfectly fine. Fast and the Furious, 2 Fast and Furious, perfectly fine. Tokyo Drift, I'll take it.
The more they do with the franchise, the more they hurt the story.
We'll talk about that later.
We will.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Let's bring it right. But all right, what about you? What's your issue? What's your issue of the week?
My issue is a comic book issue. is that apparently they've had the announcement that Joker's pregnant.
Yeah, yeah. Anybody else hear about that? The Joker's pregnant.
Now, once again, it might be one of them situations where someone's trying to teach him a cosmic lesson and it's not really a child and he's being bedazzled, or this could be somebody messing with him because Lord knows he's done some wild shit in the past. But
Yeah,
I can't co-sign this level of fuckery. I'm still a little hurt that Harley Quinn's with Poison Ivy.
that just hurt. That just normally hurts your pride. That's just a pride thing. Don't worry about that. That's just a pride thing. Because if Harley was real. Anyway, so yeah, this issue is that's the man who stopped laughing, right? Number 4.
Yeah.
I'm a little confused. I admit I'm confused. Sir, I is confuzzled. Because when I was reading this issue, it started off as a modern looking, 2023 comic book. And then I get through this first part here. And the next thing I know, like the whole art style changes back to like, old school art style. Like, so I'm like, I don't understand. Is this like somebody knock him out or something? Is he dreaming or something? Or is this really happening?
Well, the art style changing between stories is not that uncommon.
Yeah.
Because did you read 3 Jokers?
No, I did not.
Copy. I'll bring it to you. So
Copy.
it got revealed that for a certain amount of time there hasn't been one Joker operating in Gotham City. There's been 3.
There's 3. I heard about it. I didn't read it myself though. Yeah. And I think this. Oh, I see. So it could be because in this they were talking about that there was another Joker in L.A. or whatever. They literally said L.A. Which I'm like, since when does L.A. exist in D.C.?
Well,
Okay.
L.A. as far as Los Angeles has never really been talked about, but there is a
Yeah.
West Coast, yes, because there is the Titans West.
Yeah.
Because there is a branch of the Titans that are in San Francisco. Remember, says me correctly?
Oh yeah. Yep. That I think is that the squad that has I'm probably wrong. I'm gonna sound like a dumbass when I say it. That has Kid Flash.
If you're going with the Titans West, and yes, we're talking about the same thing.
Yeah, Titans West. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of the Titan squad that has Kid Flash. But yeah, so I was just like, oh, that's interesting. One in LA. And the Joker's like, I have no clue who you're talking about. That's not me. I didn't set anything up. I've been here the whole time.
Make sure you have. Make sure you have.
Yeah. We don't trust that motherfucker. But
yeah,
this is weird. Like I've never thought that I'd see the Joker literally full pot belly pregnant. But here's the weird thing. Like the other half of it's even weirder. With the whole him like throwing up thing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What was that about?
I'm not sure if that's feedback from what's actually going on or if that's part of the quote unquote pregnancy.
Yeah, because he throws up and it turns into a little goob gobber or whatever and grows legs and runs off.
Yeah, that's why I said like it might not actually be him actually being pregnant. It could be like he's been possessed or bedazzled by some magic user or someone's trying to punish him and teach him a lesson. But this is also one of the reasons why I brought up the 3 Jokers, because if you read the story, they are identified as the criminal, the comedian, and the clown. And it's supposed to be that, depending on which one you're dealing with, you get a certain level of antics. Like the
Mm.
criminal is the one that murdered Jason Todd.
Mm-hmm.
While the clown, if memory serves me correctly, is the one that shot Barbara Gardner.
Mm. And then the anarchist. So I thought that's what it was. It was the criminal, the clown, and the anarchist.
Criminal, clown, comedian.
Oh.
But once again, it all depends on the version of the story you're reading. So it's like,
That's true.
we got those three. Who's to say that there isn't another version that is that anarchist? As we know, the Joker is one.
Mm-hmm.
And the Joker had been making other Jokers. So it's like, this could be another one of them scenarios where wires got crossed and this is the byproduct.
That's
But I swear on a holy stack of Bibles and Qurans, if this winds up being one of those scenarios where we see this man with his feet in stirrups shooting a child out his ass, I'm done.
You didn't get that far?
You know what I mean, damn it. You know what I mean.
Because it definitely gets that far. Like, my man's had the atomic skull up in his thing looking around. And, like, that's, you know, he threw up a whole, like, it looked like Clayface in a way. Yeah, and then it runs away, and then when they finally find it, it's like formed into like a small mini Joker. And then Joker takes it as his kid or whatever, and apparently Zatanna is the mother.
It could have been worse. It could have been Batman.
I was half expecting it to be Batman. I was most definitely expecting it to be Batman. But yeah, that's a motherfucking issue of the week. That's an issue of the week. Yeah. When I read through that, I was just like, I was half disgusted, and the other like, how did we get here? What did I miss? Because it just like skips over from the one story to the next story with no carryover. So it's as if it's like two different comics put together. So I had to take them. I was like, I'm lost somewhere here. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, like I said, that leads us into what else we wanted to talk about here. It's a little segment we call Geek Gossip. So we're gonna sit down. We'll talk about a lot of the things that have just recently popped up, and or information that we just find pretty interesting that you guys need to know within the geek world. Again, you know, we already touched on the Ezra Miller thing, the James Gunn thing. How about your take on this Ant-Man trailer?
First and foremost, I want to give a lot of praise to where it's due, and I want to salute my brother Jonathan Majors, because that man has been on a roll.
A fucking man.
Seriously. Ever since Lovecraft Country, he's been doing his thing. And I just can't wait to see what he does with this character, because anyone who knows anything about Kang knows Kang is a force to be reckoned with. And then, like, the second I saw the trailer, I'm like, okay, maybe the quantum verse isn't so much a realm or a reality as it was a prison. So maybe someone stuck him down there, and this might not even be the worst version of him.
Oh, yeah, that could be the version that actually made it to the Living Tribunal, but didn't win.
Yeah,
and it could have been the Living Tribunal that put him there.
Because it's like he had to got in prison down there some way, shape, or form. So it's like, who put him there? And then it's like, if this is one of the, let's say, badder ones, and I'm using my air quotations, I mean, who's to say that this one doesn't link up with the other ones? Like, yo, I'm out. It's that time. We got issues. These guys call themselves the Avengers. Let's take care of them. But nah, man, like from Lovecraft Country to The Harder They Fall, you see that he's fighting Michael B. Jordan in the next Creed movie.
Ooh.
That's a Killmonger versus Kang for all my level 7s.
Mm-hmm. That's gonna be good. That's just gonna be real good. I can't wait.
Nah,
I'll be
I just
straight
can't
with
wait.
you. I got Jonathan Major's character. Yeah. I think he gonna put the beats on little Apollo. I think he's gonna put the beats on him. So I think that. Ooh, and here's my problem. Here's my problem with the story.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you and everyone else watching is going to be able to see it right away. The Creed movies are starting to follow the Rocky movies straight through, like movie for movie.
I don't know about that one.
Like it's really close. Like if you look at the premise of the Rocky movies and compare the premise of the Rocky movies to the premise of some of the Creed movies, like I feel like this one is literally a Tommy Guns. It's literally going to be a Tommy Gun storyline. For those of you who don't know, and I'll be honest with you, I don't even remember what Rocky was that had Tommy Guns.
5.
It was 5.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. For those who don't know, the premise of Rocky 5 is Rocky stumbles across this young kid. He wants to get into boxing, whatever. Rocky's a champ now. He got his old gym, so he stumbles across this kid. This kid talks him into training him. Rocky busts his ass, trains this kid to the point like his relationship with his family diminishes. Same thing with his son and stuff diminishes. Pretty much risks damn near everything for this kid Tommy Guns, just for him to turn around and essentially stab him in the back and like dump him to go with the Don King kind of character in the promoter.
That
Got
wave
to a
bear
point.
jigaboo.
It literally got to a point where at the end of the movie, Rocky said, "Motherfucker, we're not getting in the ring." To the point he took this kid outside of the bar, gloves off, and they just went to town, just slugging it out, straight street fight in the back of the bar.
Mm.
But again, I feel like this is going to be that story. He runs into an old friend or somebody that shows premise. He puts them on. The person that he considers to be a friend ends up betraying him, and now they end up having to square off in the end.
Mm. Well, yeah, I guess if you compare it that way. But see, what I took from it was that he already had what's I'm looking for. He already had talent as a fighter. See,
Yeah.
And this is the thing everyone forgets. When the movie opens up, when the original Creed opens up, Adonis is in juvie. They never said why he was there.
Mm.
So it could have been one of those things like where him and Jonathan Majors got into trouble together, and if they're a few years apart, Jonathan Majors could have gone to prison while he went to juvie. And then here's the whole thing. He could hear through the grapevine because, as you know, information doesn't travel any slower through brick walls than it does through free air.
Mm-hmm.
That, Rafrida Rashad, she comes, finds him, adopts him, and then he lives this lavish life of style and all this other shit because, he's lo and behold revealed to be Apollo Jr. So it's like that, like he said, he's like, you think you're mad? Imagine spending your life behind a cell watching someone else live your life.
So what I'm thinking is, I think it's going to be along the lines of that, but I don't think it was that, because he was older that he went to prison. I think he took the fall for him.
That too.
I'm thinking Jonathan Majors took the fall for Michael B. Jordan's character. You know what I'm saying? And so again, like you said, how do you think it feels to, be locked up behind bars and watch somebody else live your life? So I think that's what it was. Major's character was the one that had the promise, had the talent, the skill, the raw, everything, and he was about to make it, and then he took the fall for his friend, and so his friend ended up taking off while he didn't. And the whole story, the whole thing really starts off because he gets out, and Michael B. Jordan, he feels bad for him and feels bad about the situation, so he's like, "Yo, let me put you on." Puts him on and then all the while not knowing that homeboy's already thinking of revenge. So he backstabs him, takes what he takes, whatever fame or stardom he got, and then they're gonna have to duke it out in the end.
Hey man, sometimes the best place to solve your problems is with your fist.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's what that's gonna be because that's the only thing I feel like that's the only thing that kind of really makes sense. They touched back on the Drago story, cleared that up.
Well, the Drago thing to me made sense because it's also one
Yeah.
of the things like the whole thing was Victor wasn't necessarily evil. He was just doing what he felt he needed to do to appease his father. And anyone who's ever
Mm-hmm.
grown up in the shadow of a strong male figure who wants X, Y, and Z for you, which might necessarily be what you want, is understandable.
Yeah. You know, and
And the other thing that was really interesting about Creed 2 was Victor's whole story and his point of view. Like his father loses the fight, which could have been just another fight, but he didn't just lose that fight. He lost all credibility. He lost all the respect he held. He lost everything
all
behind that fight.
status and everything.
His fucking wife, all that. So it's like the only thing that he managed to keep through all that was his son. But it's like you raised him to be a certain way for him to become an adult, to look at the world the way he looks at it. And then for you to realize that, you've been doing the shit wrong way this whole time. Is it really worth it to have these people approval who don't give a fuck about you in the first place?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I'll be honest, man. This the next Creed movie. They're gonna just keep the shit going.
Nah,
They're
I
going against
think,
Clubber Lang's son.
listen, and if it's played by Winston Duke, I swear to God.
No, I would say get okay, I've always said this. If they're gonna do Clubber Lang's kid, I feel like get an actual boxer, get Deontay Wild. Get Wilder.
Did you say Deontay Wilder?
Yeah. Get him. Bring him in. Bring him in.
Oh my God.
He's
Oh
already a
my
clown in the
God.
ring. He's already an actor in the ring. Why not? Come on.
Oh my God. That's hilarious. You're not right, but you're not wrong.
Like, hey, listen, he's out of line, but he's not wrong. No. You know what? It's 2023. Clubber Lang got his thing going on with a white girl. And now they kids, what I'm saying? Fuck it, Jake Paul. Jake or Logan. One of the two. Clubber Lang's
Oh,
son. Let's
oh my
go.
God. Oh my God. I'm
Let's
not
go.
acknowledging that statement. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on.
Oh man. Oh god. That's hilarious. That's fucking hilarious, dude. I'm telling you, I can see it. I can see it. I can see it now. I can say it. I can say it, guys. My dad's Clubber Lang. I can say it.
Everyone in the room's like, yeah, nah, my guy, that's not right. You might have a pass with him, but nigga, you ain't got a passport. You're not international.
No.
Be humble. Sit down.
No. Jake and Logan Paul in real life. I can say it. I played the son of one. Oh man. I just feel like that should give me the right to say it. Fucking clowns, dude. Next Joker. Next Joker. Next Joker. Either Jake or Logan, whatever one decides to put on the makeup first.
Listen, oh, hold on. Wait a minute. Let's not forget Joaquin Phoenix is putting it back on. And he's playing opposite Lady Gaga.
Yeah, dude, it's a fucking musical.
I'm okay with that.
I'm not.
I love musicals. I said it.
I wouldn't say that I do. I wouldn't say that I don't. But the first movie was already weird enough and sad enough. Now you're gonna have a sad ass musical?
That makes.
How do you have a sad ass musical?
Les Miserables. Let's see, Chicago, Sweeney Todd, The Phantom of the Opera. I can keep going.
I wouldn't say Sweeney Todd was kind of sad. I think.
Oh yeah, sure. There was only throats being cut and cannibalism.
And for some people, some of our viewers, that's not sad. That's like an average Tuesday. I hope none of you listen to this. I hope that doesn't relate to any of you.
Mm-hmm. You gonna go have a meat pie after this, are you, nigga?
Hey, yo. Hey. All I know is that I'm gonna enjoy this season of the show. I'm gonna enjoy this season of the show very, very much. All right.
Yeah. But I'm not against it being a musical. That, and I love Gaga. I absolutely love her.
Yeah. I love Lady Gaga too.
I've been a fan of her acting chops since Hotel. American Horror Story Hotel. Excuse me.
What? You know what else I'm interested with too? All right, so Joaquin, he's putting the makeup back on. But did you also see this new movie? This trailer for this new movie he has coming out that he made? Bro, that should look bonkers.
What is it called?
It's called it's Beau is Afraid or something like that.
I'm drawing a total blank. I don't know what you're talking about.
Beau is Afraid. So like it's like he's like it starts out when he's young, when he's like a kid, and then like it goes through his life as he gets older, and it's trippy. You got to watch the trailer to understand. It's like trippy. It's something that you'd watch high, really, really high.
Oh, so it's like Scott Pilgrim versus the World trippy.
No. What is it? I'm trying to find something that's relative to it. Damn, what's something that's equally as trippy as this shit? I don't know. It's just like it's surrealist. It's a surrealist comedy horror movie.
So like Donnie Darko.
Donnie Darko. What's the name? The Woody Harrelson movie where he's the serial killer. Natural Born Killers. Yep, Natural Born Killers. Yeah, Natural Born Killers. Danny Darko. Donnie Dark. All that. I don't know. Yeah, bro. It's that kind of trippy. Like you gotta. Oh shit! Type shit. Yeah, bro. It looks that nutty. But yeah. James Gunn fucking up. Ezra Miller fucking up. Jonathan
some people might not feel they're fucking up, Power. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but if you look at the evidence.
I agree with you. I'm just saying somebody else might not.
I mean, I guess, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. But
very true.
At the end of the day, not all the assholes are pretty or correct.
once again, you're not necessarily wrong, but
yeah, this. So I'm thinking about it as a business owner. As someone that that does business as if I was the boss. It doesn't make sense to me. I have a product that I can create that has a blueprint essentially, or as us level sevens call it, source material.
mhm.
We have decades and decades and decades of this source material. The source, holy shit, I can't talk today. Source material. Yet every time they write a script, they take the source material, take a shit, and wipe their ass with it.
Yeah, like if for Wonder Woman, what was it? 80, 84, 89? What was it?
One Woman I think it was 84. No, 89. I don't know. Wonder Woman 2.
Okay, so for that, like if you look at like the character of Maxwell Lord and then check him against the source material, that was extremely
That
far off
was
from what actually happened.
Maxwell Lord. Like Supergirl did closer to Maxwell Lord than than that movie did.
Right? And here's another thing with that. You notice how they basically wrote him out the show and just never brought him back?
Right? And again, I mean, I stopped watching the show after a while. I didn't watch it to the end. I just stopped watching it. And it's sad because at this point, the only CW Arrowverse show that I watched all the way to completion is Arrow. From first episode to last episode is Arrow. Legends
Well,
of Tomorrow can go jump off a bridge at this point. Same thing with The Flash. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to push through it to figure out what the hell's happening in these last two seasons so I can give him a good send-off. I'm glad Batwoman's gone.
my issue with that is that there was continuity problems, and then there was ownership issues. And what I mean by that is that to me, there was a really hard time of making that character its own character within that universe. Like
Mm-hmm.
when you think of Nightwing, Nightwing has issues with certain characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like you think of Jason Todd, who's Red Hood. He's got issues with certain characters. It's
Black
like
Mass to be one.
right. So like everyone knows about Nightwing's issues with Deathstroke. Like even him
Mm-hmm.
in them dealing with Brother Blood. Like I felt like they tried to do that with that Batwoman with the whole thing with Alice and the Wonderland gang, and like that was cute, but it wasn't
Enough.
enough. Like they didn't give
Yeah.
her own rogues gallery that was actually dangerous or menacing.
Yeah, because again, if you look at Alice and the Wonderland Gang, it's literally she was her Joker. Like almost down to the T, just with a different, you know what I'm saying?
They were
She
trying to do that and it just didn't work.
Yeah, they're trying to do. They weren't. Let me put it this way: the way I see it as, they weren't trying to do Batwoman. They were trying to do female Batman.
I
You
mean,
get what I'm saying?
yes and no.
Because everything that I looked at about that, I didn't feel or see anything that was like to me really like that. Again, like you said, that it got her to stand out as like her own individual character. A lot of it just felt like it was Batman, especially when you look at Batman, Bruce Wayne's personal life, whining and dining, smashing this chick, that chick, this chick, having love problems here, love triangle there, you know, but comes
Right.
back, goes out at night, fights a pale faced, makeup wearing, highly psychotic, childish being that likes to speak in riddles and laugh. Right off that, you got Joker, Riddler, Alice. Like I
Yeah.
felt zero originality coming out of the show.
And then it's like as time went by, like another thing to me too was, all right, if they wanted to have them phase in certain DC characters who are operating in Gotham, was let's be honest, Gotham City is probably the worst place you can fucking live in the DC universe.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I actually have a graphic novel that's called Joker, where the Joker is released from Arkham Asylum, and now he comes home and basically finds out that the city's been divvied up amongst the mob and other crime figures, and he basically tells everyone, like, nah, I'm back, the pie is mine, and I'm mad you niggas cut it up. You want to have your piece of it, but the problem that everyone forgets is that the pie is mine. So, with that being said, I find it hard to believe that with Gotham City being what it was and who's operating in it, that we didn't see none of that. Like, okay, we got to see Black Mask come into play, and we get that the whole thing happened, like with the Joker and like how he got wiped off the board. But it's like, where the fuck was Harley Quinn? Like, Killer Croc, he played a big part in shit. Like there was just some. I get like they tried to do the whole thing with the weapons being lost, and they had to recapture them, and then they were trying to they in essence recreate a certain villain. But my question was, where the fuck were the original ones? Like the whole thing with the one guy getting a hold of the Mad Hatter's hat. Like if Jervis Tex was still alive, he's gonna be like, oh, so you're stealing my stick.
Yep.
Like and it's like you see that with multiple characters, and it's like, hell, the mob ran Gotham City since the 60s. Where was Carmine Falcone? Where was Daggett? Where was Salvatore Maroni? We saw that in the Gotham show.
Oh, that masterpiece. Masterpiece. I don't know. I personally didn't find anything wrong with the show.
With Gotham?
Yeah.
There was little things here and there, but that's also one of the things like where every character that they used, some of them they changed slightly, but that got redeemed by the person who was playing them.
Yeah. And of course, those changes were based on the fact that, of the rights issue that you were talking about, ownership issues. Some they couldn't necessarily do everything, but they did as much as they could to keep the character true.
Right.
And like I feel like that throughout the whole show.
Another big thing is, and this is the thing a lot of people forget, when it comes to the page to the actual screen, some things just don't transfer well. Like look at a character like Mr. Freeze. I mean, that's a great character, phenomenal story, greatly told, and he's one of the well-known villains who's lesserly used. So they used him and they made it work. But it's one of those things where like the freezing and stuff, they had to do with it not have it look cheesy or look bad or So
I mean, I feel like it can be done at least nowadays. Maybe definitely not George Clooney days. But I feel like it's definitely something that can be done now with a character like Freeze and stuff like that, if it's done the right way.
Funny thing that you brought up George Clooney. So everyone collectively agrees that Batman and Robin is the worst Batman movie. I have yet to hear someone say different, unless they're a hardcore fan of George Clooney or Arnold Schwarzenegger.
You said the worst?
Yes. Most people agree that Batman and Robin is the worst one.
Yes, it's probably the worst, but I enjoyed it.
Now, here's the funny thing. So I was actually talking in a little group chat online. They were talking about this. They're like how that movie actually had more potential if it hadn't gone the angle it went. Like, look at the people who were in it. Arnold Schwarzenegger, whether you love him or hate him, is one of the greatest action stars of our generation.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Like him playing a bad guy, and we've already seen that happen once or twice, and it's like, okay, let's see where this goes. And especially like a bad guy with so much depth like Victor Freeze. Like, come on, man. And then Uma Thurman, you see her play a character like Beatrice Kiddo and Kill Bill. Like you did once again, beautiful, dangerous, seductive. Like the star power and the material was there. All they had to do was follow it. It was too goofy and childish for the movie to succeed. If their movie had a different director, that movie probably would have been golden.
Absolutely. But I feel like they were trying to go that way because of the seriousness of the previous movies.
But once again, and this is my thing that we've talked about before, these stories were meant to be dark. The characters are dark. Let them be dark. I mean, it doesn't need to be fucking knee shattering and ribs broken and concussion dark, but
yeah, it doesn't need to be a Robin Pattinson dark.
Oh my god.
I will say I enjoyed it. I don't care. I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the Batman.
I didn't hate it. I have my little grievances with it. I still say Zoe Kravitz stole the show.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But at the same time, to be honest, Zoe Kravitz is the only reason why a lot of people even went to go see the movie. Or even gave it a chance.
Oh.
But one thing I will say that I love about the movie is that, and you know me, I'm a big movie buff, I'm a big film buff and stuff like that. I love the fact that this movie is a part of like revolutionizing the way films are shot.
Yes.
Like majority of that movie is shot inside. And they have a huge ass like screen stage. And it's so high definition that it looks like it's real life on the camera. On them scenes when they're standing in that loft area in the building under construction, that's not real. Those are all screens behind them. They didn't build that set or anything. It's literally all screens. The scene where Penguin, Colin Farrell, is running from the Batman. When he's driving in the car, all the lights and everything, images and all that you see behind him is all TV. They're all monitors. And like they can create whole landscapes on these monitors and shit like that and control like what time of day it is so they can get the best lighting for the set and stuff. It's crazy. And I feel like it's really something that could revolutionize movies because that movie looked visually awesome. I thought it was visually awesome. And the way they wrote the Riddler in this one was very different. Made him more of a psychopath.
Well, it's also one of the things like the thing with Batman is, and this is like the same thing with Spider-Man. The reason why you can do Batman till you're blue in the face is because Batman has the best villains. I don't care what no one says. The only person who might have villains that even come close to Batman's is Spider-Man. Maybe followed by the X-Men. Other than that,
yeah. Hell yeah. Oh yeah, I agree with that full force. Holy shit, yeah.
Like his Batman's whole rogues gallery, who are like there's a good 20 people who they could put in a movie and it'd be phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like they already started using lesser known characters and got them to pop. Once again, if you watch Gotham, they used a lot of them.
Yeah, they use a lot of the side characters again because of ownership issues.
Right.
But still, the show was absolutely phenomenal.
I think the only mainstream villain, from his rogues gallery we didn't see was the Man Bat, and I want to say Killer Croc.
Mm,
Because we saw We saw Harvey Dent, but we get to see Harvey Dent become Two-Face.
You sure?
I'm positive. Because Harvey's only in like 3 episodes.
Oh yeah.
Like they make like little references to his dark side. I remember there's a one scene like where he's in a movie, not a movie theater. He's in like a dark room with a movie projector, and you see like the one side of his face is darked out.
Mm-hmm. And then you see it sometimes like when he would be in that conversation, one like he'll be talking and he'll switch real quick and be like full aggressive and angry and stuff. I felt like the acting in the show was absolutely phenomenal as well.
Right.
It was great. All the kid actors, grade A, awesomeness. The storylines, the actual storylines, they actually touched on some real deep DC shit. The Court of Owls. And that's the number one thing. If DC did a movie for Batman that involved the Court of Owls and did it to its full like level of awesomeness.
Shh. No one talks about them. Not a whisper word is said. For if you ever cross them, then the Talon strikes you dead.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. But that's our geek gossip. Now this one. Now we're just gonna move on to our next segment here. Just walking you guys through what it's gonna be for the rest of the year. This is how it's gonna be. For the moment everyone's been waiting for, the character breakdown with Lord Triage. So I'm gonna let Triage take it from here. This is his segment. Who are we breaking down today?
Today we're going to be breaking down the Mistress of Magnetism, Lorna Dane, aka Polaris.
Magneto's daughter.
Yes, his second daughter. So, why you say it like that?
Because depending on what story you're reading,
oh God, here we go.
Lorna's his first and only actual blood daughter.
All right.
Depending on what you read, Wanda's not his actual daughter.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But I prefer to stick with the continuity that I read about, that I grew up reading about. So that's what I like to follow.
Okay.
So,
okay. But I agree with that. Yes.
I think that with the world moving the way it's been, and the fact that Magneto's a Holocaust survivor, that especially with them talking about the whole thing with introducing the X-Men into the MCU, well, I would love to see Michael Fassbender or Sir Ian McCain come back as a Eric Lynch or Magneto.
Yeah.
I think having his daughter take the reins and have her feel the pressure of that responsibility, to me, would be done very well against the modern day X-Men.
Now, no, go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead. What were you about to say? Because I want to hear it.
No, I was gonna skip ahead. No, I want to hear more about this thought right here. So have her go against the modern day X-Men.
Well, my thing with that is that one, she's a strong female character.
Mm-hmm.
She's extremely powerful, and like another thing that was really cool about Lorna was Lorna dealt with and had to be a symbol for mental health. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, Magneto and Lorna's powers are to bend electromagnetic fields to their will. They don't control metal. That's a common mistake, because not all metal can be magnetized.
Mm-hmm.
So, by doing so for extended periods of time, causes immeasurable damage to the brain. Because all they're basically doing is short-circuiting their own brains. That's one of the reasons why Magneto wore his helmet. There's a whole origin story that goes into detail about Lorna's powers, and when they activated when she was a child, her father, my air quotations, was questioning her mother about her having an affair while they were on a plane. and Lorna, hearing them argue, go back and forth, began to get upset. Now, mind you, she's only like 3 or 4 at the time.
Mm.
And in the process of her doing this, she flew into like a fit of rage and literally ripped the plane apart.
Oh shit!
Yes.
Like an actual plane flying in through, actually in the air, or like
yes,
a toy?
yes.
Oh shit!
Her father,
Pulled
excuse
a
me,
Ray Skywalker.
yes, her stepfather was flying, and in like a fit of rage, she teared it apart.
They were on the plane.
Yes.
Oh
and
shit!
This same incident turned her hair from brown to that emerald green that is like her common look. So Magneto felt this happen and went to the location. And then when he goes to the location and when he sees her and figures out what happened, he realizes that this child is his daughter.
Mm.
He proceeds to have her mind wiped and has her put into foster care and keeps an eye on her from then on out.
Oh, that's fucked up. I mean, it's Magneto. I can't really expect anything more.
I mean, that's one of those kind of necessarily, do you want a child to live with that level of trauma?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes the truth is the better thing, but especially someone with a certain level of, you gotta remember, she did this at like the age of 3 or 4. She ripped an entire plane apart, and that was an accident.
Exactly, which is interesting because, like, I feel like Magneto, if he since well, I guess he also didn't want to be a Charles either. He didn't want to be like Charles either, and just bring in and teach people how to use their powers because But I feel like if he would have, she would have been even more powerful than she ended up being in the end.
Right, and she winds up joining the X-Men, eventually falling in love with Havoc, and then they have their off again, on again relationship. And it's like, I think like if they go that angle and then have her realize what's going on, and then have her become like Magneto's heir, essentially, because we do see that in certain medias. Like we saw that in Wolverine, the X-Men. Once again, great cartoon, loved it. Don't really care for Wolverine leading the X-Men. I think it's unrealistic, but I'm not gonna go along with it.
I agree with you. Also, like we saw in Gifted.
Yep, great show. And I would love for them to bring that actress back because I think she did a phenomenal job.
Absolutely, I agree. It's I feel like she really brought. You can really see like the duality struggle with the character. She did really, really well about portraying both sides of the characters. State of mind. I really shouldn't be doing this. This is not really what I'm about. But I'm angry and I need change. I don't want to bring my baby into this world that hates it.
Right.
So I was ecstatic to watch her play that role.
And another thing with Polaris is that Polaris is often depicted as being bipolar, going through the extreme ups, the extreme highs, and extreme lows. But it's also magnified because of her ability, because her ability affects her mental state. Like there is a version of the story where Polaris' powers were so strong, she literally had a psychotic break. And if you're someone who is a Scarlet Witch fan or Wanda, you've already seen what Wanda's grief did to her in the MCU.
Yeah, she literally damn near tore the multiverse apart.
Once again, that apple don't necessarily fall that far from the tree.
Yeah. Damn.
Like I said, I've said it before.
Quicksilver is the only lightweight motherfucker out of Magneto's kids.
Well, here's the thing with Quicksilver, and this is one of the things I've always thought was interesting, was if you're someone who's a speedster, we've seen speedsters do some really out-of-pocket shit. Like, you were talking about the Flash show. Yes. If you were talking about the Flash show, and they went from him just moving at super speed to him running through objects to them creating constructs out of lightning to all kinds of shit. So
Yeah, that shit was weird. The lightning construct is weird. This thing is this thing just
for
had lightning
for his
lightsabers.
character, yes. Like if Electro did it, I wouldn't bat an eye about it.
Absolutely.
But I just think it's one of those things where there's so much that could be explored with his speed that's really not.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, he moves at super speed because like people ask all the time, like, who was the
Who's
better
faster?
Quicksilver? Was it the one from made by Fox or was it the one in the MCU? Now the one in the MCU is more comic accurate from his personality to how he carried himself to the way he did shit.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think that the Fox one gets blown out of proportion because of who played him, and then that whole scene where he runs around the X Mansion, which I thought was just colorful and cute. Once
Okay,
again,
you're not even gonna mention when we first see him.
oh, it's talking about the thing where he breaks into the Pentagon,
Yeah, when they break into the Pentagon, and he just like, nope, stops. Move this, move that, move that. You there, you there, you there. This there. Punch him, punch that. Shoot him, and stands right back in line and just moves the bullet out of the way of Xavier's head.
yeah. Once again, like I said, that's cute, but that's not the character,
Yeah, because even then, even like comic books or anything, he's not that fast. That's Flash level of fast, moving so fast that everyone else around you is moving slow.
right?
Quicksilver can just get from one point A to point B really fast.
I mean, once again, it all depends on the story and who's writing it, but
So
he's another one of the characters like you just said. In hindsight, he is kind of considered a lightweight, but it's also like we don't get to see him do shit with his speed. For example, it's not even sometimes the power opposed to how it is the person who uses it.
mm-hmm.
Like look at the Nightcrawler teleporting around the White House.
Yep. And
And it,
then look at Azrael jumping around in first class.
right? And the way he was teleporting people into the sky and dropping them and then he was
Yeah.
combining that with his swordsmanship. Like, no. So sometimes it's just the power and how you use it. And like I said, if we go back to Lorna and everything, like we have her get taught by Xavier, her come full circle, be like, oh, this is my dad. This is what he wants. I agree. Maybe there's a better way to go about it, especially with stuff that's going on in the world with the issues that we have to deal with. We already keep seeing this whole thing with them pushing for women to be the forefront in certain cinema, in certain action. And then it's
Yep.
like, let's have a badass female villain. Give me 5 badass female villains on the top of your head. Oh wait,
Shigo? That's all I got.
who?
Shigo from Kim Possible.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like let us get that hardcore activist. Like, nah, this is what I said. This is what I'm gonna do. Anyone who's got a problem with it, I dare you fight me. Come take it from me.
Wanda, aside from Wanda, right? We all know that. We all know that.
Once again, and that sets that up too.
It does.
Like
House of M.
we already saw that. Like let Magneto be like, oh, so no, you're not an enhanced individual. You're a mutant. Like I'm a what?
Yep.
Like yes,
And
like
they finally used the word, so
right?
they can
Like
do it.
like you could have the two of them meet and be like, yo, I'm here to take you back to our father. What do you mean our father? Like I'm your sister. Wait, what? And then just go from there. Like
Mm-hmm.
what?
Oh god, that would be crazy.
Like have it be like Magneto was on his deathbed, and then like he passes the torch to his child who wanted to reunite his family. Like it's all writes itself. You just gotta follow it.
Or even then, it doesn't even write itself. It's already written, really. it's already pretty much written. Again, they have all this source material that they choose not to use it. Like Polaris, like and or if they get something good going, they scrap it. Look at Gifted. Gifted was great. It was going really good. The storylines were really good. It made sense within the timeline, the Fox timeline. It was essentially what was leading up to Days of Future Past. That's what the show was. It was a lead up to Days of Future Past, and like they had it, but then they fucked it.
And then once again, all those characters were either lesser known characters or weren't front runners. Like I knew who
Yeah.
Polaris was, but like Eclipse was created solely for the show. You had Thunderbird, who
He
who
was
I thought was
actually in Days of Future Past.
right, who
Mhm.
was who I thought was a phenomenal character, who I thought they actually gave some shine to, and you had to see
Mhm.
actually how cool he was. Blink,
Yeah. I
and
say,
then
what would you rank Blink? Would she be not an A-list mutant, but I don't think she's like as low as a C.
well,
I'd say
no,
maybe like a B.
here's the thing with that, because Blink's power, like everyone knows that Blink can teleport, but Blink doesn't teleport the way Nightcrawler does. Like Nightcrawler can only go 2 miles at a time. Blink could go as far as the moon if she wanted.
Yeah, but it's also based on like the fact of how their powers work. She opens like dimensional portals while like from point A to point B. She just creates the tear. But
See that?
she creates a tear in time and space. On the other hand, Nightcrawler is actually travels extra dimensionally. He
Yes.
actually from point A, he actually goes to a point B, and the other place is point C. He just does it so fast that you can't notice it. For anyone who's watched X-Men Evolution, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
That oh god, that show was that show was great too. That show was great too. But yeah, they actually decided to all because they made a joke saying that he farted.
Oh yeah, because they were always talking about how
Yeah,
when he
he got
teleported, it was the smell of
smelled like
sulfur that got left behind.
no brimstone.
Brimstone, excuse me.
Yeah, it was the smell of brimstone. So they're like, where's the smoke come from? Where's the smell of brimstone? And so they end up like creating this thing and slowed down his teleportation. And he actually ended up getting trapped in that dimension for a minute. And it actually opened a portal for like monsters or demons from that dimension to creep through to our dimension. And again, you got shit like this in your arsenal, yet they choose not to use it. You have a strong ass female lead like Polaris. And when you were building her up and doing something good, you scrapped it.
Like I'm not sure if that was the whole thing with Fox being bought by Disney or what was going on there. But once again, they could have just integrated that show onto Disney Plus or left it on Fox and then just changed the dynamic of it slightly.
Yep. Yep.
Like I like the whole fact they did Sentinel Services, and how Sentinel Services was like their militant group that was supposed to be hunting down mutants and controlling them. And another thing I thought that was interesting, I didn't even know those two twins, they're actual comic book characters and they're villains.
The mutant twins that were hunting them and stuff, right?
Like how the girl could create like the shields, and the kid could tear shit apart. They call themselves Fenris, the wolf.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're actually considered to be enemies of the Black Panther.
Yeah, because they actually talked about it in the show. It's the boy and the girl. They have the same powers as their grandparents, and their grandparents were the original Fenrir.
So, like once again, all they had to do is follow the breadcrumbs.
Just follow, just ease it in, just ease it in, just ease it. No. Oh my god, bro, just talking about this just get me pissed off. Because it's like, you could be doing so much better, but you choose not to. Choose not to. So Polaris in general, from the first off, from her lineage, from her heritage, the bloodline that she has is just right off the rip, you're already going to be strong as hell. And then on top of that, just like the sheer power and this level and the resourcefulness of her powers, it just makes her an absolute savage, dude. Like, she can either really save the world or absolutely destroy it. And I find it interesting. I find it really interesting, and I agree with you. I would love to see her back on the screen, and honestly, in the big screen this time. So, with that one going down, just breaking down our character of of this week. We got to break down some of these franchises that are just absolutely going on for far too long, i.e., Fast and the Furious. Yeah, I'm talking about you. To be honest, and I know I'm going to catch mad heat from this, but Star Wars, you got to stop. Just there's movies that just should have been stopped multiple times ago. This one's going to be a little bit different because I personally want to talk about Power Rangers.
Okay. Well, here's my thing with this. It depends on the concept and what it is. Like, for what I mean, well, that is like, you've seen The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So, like, if we count the first three, The Fellowship, The Two Towers, and The Return of the King, I don't think of that as three different movies. I don't even think of that as a trilogy. I just think of it as one long ass movie.
In multiple parts, Titanic style.
Yeah, that's how I think of it. Now, if you look at something like that and consider it that way, then you look at like Star Wars, which is also a trilogy. You could do that with the first three, with the original ones, 4, 5, and 6, but 1, 2, and 3, you can't. Like 1, 2, and 3 actually does fall into the trilogy category for me. And I don't necessarily hate it. I think it was one of them things like where they had to figure shit out. It wasn't necessarily a money grab. It was them going back and telling the story. I just think them trying to compare apples to oranges, some people didn't like it.
Yes, I
like one big thing people talk about is how people felt like Anakin Skywalker, Hayden Christensen was a complainer. Like all he did was complain. But my nigga, you got to look at it from this aspect. Like if you got Michael Jordan on your team and you want him to play 10 minutes of the game and that's it, he's got a right to be annoyed.
Yeah. All right. Now I'll see what you're getting at. Yeah, no, I definitely see it. And
because if you ever read the material with that, like Anakin's biggest issue was that he was gifted and he knew it. Stuff that would take people 6 months took him 3 months. Stuff that would take people 3 months, he learned in weeks. Like, I've already shown that I'm skilled, I'm driven, and I'm better than everyone else around me. Explain to me why I keep getting held back. But the fact that he kept getting held back was the fact that they felt that he was too immature to deal with the situations he had to face in the galaxy. And then his inevitable choice
being just a big ass fucked up cycle.
Yeah.
The more they held him back, the angrier and more impatient he got, which caused him to hold him back even more. I'd be pissed.
Exactly.
I'd be pissed. I know what I can do. I'm confident. I believe in myself. I know what my skill set is and what my abilities are. And and essentially they weren't utilizing him. And he was like, no, why the hell am I devoting my life to all this if you guys don't even trust me?
And now, once again, that quote unquote makes sense considering the teachings and the stuff they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also one of those things like you had to understand the monster you were slowly be creating.
Exactly.
So in that aspect, I don't hate the prequels by any means. Now, if you're talking about that fuckery with 7, 8, and 9,
Wait, you
I
talking
don't
about
even
Dragon
want
Ball
to.
Evolution?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Because
You know,
I don't know. I don't know of a Star Wars. What was it? You said 7, 8, and 9.
yes.
I mean, I know of a movie called Dragon Ball Evolution.
Yeah, so that as far as
I'd rather talk about Dragon Ball Evolution than 7, 8, and 9.
no. You brought up Star Wars, so we're gonna kick this hornet's nest.
Oh, absolutely. Let's
Like
kick it.
like you said, there was the material. It was written out. All they had to do was follow it. They chose not to. They chose to push an agenda because that's what it was.
It really was.
They chose to dial certain things back,
Which
and
they
then
should not.
somewhere between here and there, it wasn't so much, oh, we're continuing the story to me as it was a money grab.
Mm.
Like, let's be honest. Kylo
Mm-hmm.
Ren might be powerful, but he's a bitch. And
Yes.
and
Absolutely.
that is
Absolutely.
that is no disrespect to Adam Driver. No disrespect to him.
Absolutely not. I feel like he played the character absolutely perfectly to what was written for him.
Like, I get that they want to have humor in certain moments, but like that little scene, like where he turns his lightsaber on, destroys the console, and he's like, "Is there anything else?" Like that was childish to me. Like he's having a tantrum.
Oh my. Okay. Thank God I'm not the only one. Like I'm looking at that. I'm like, he's a damn near a Sith Lord. Why is he acting like that?
Right? And that's another thing too. Like my biggest issue with certain shit is that you need to just let the bad guy be the bad guy. He's the villain. Let him be the villain.
Mm-hmm.
Like Snoke said himself, when I saw you, I saw the potential of a new Vader. You see the shit Anakin Skywalker did when he got in that suit. Vader was that nigga, man.
For anyone who's watched Kenobi, you already know what it is.
From that to Rogue One to listen, Vader was that guy.
And if you look at it, I believe that is all linear. That's like literally one right after the other. Because if you look at Rogue One leads right into 6. No, not 6. 3. Rogue One rolls right into 6. So all that damage you see him do at the end of Rogue One, and all the damage you see him do at the beginning of 3, he's that goon. He's all the way with the smoke.
Right? You mean excuse me? You mean 4?
Huh?
You mean 4?
4.
Because a new Hope is 4.
Oh yeah, A New Hope is 4. My bad. 4. Thank you. But yeah, if you look at Kenobi, my boy, everyone's talking about Star Destroyer when he took down the entire damn starship with using the Force, but my man Vader used one hand, and dropped a whole freighter ship. One hand. My man was using his mind to damn near terraform that damn planet as he was fighting Kenobi at the end.
Right? Like
Stupid strong.
Like the level of power he had to have to manipulate the environment and then to rip that ship. And that's just little shit you're seeing him do.
Yeah. That's everyday shit to him.
Fueled by his rage on top of that and everything. Listen, man, like if we're comparing that to the shit Kylo Ren's doing, like he's a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
And then they wanted to give
the character knew he was a bitch too. The character knew he was a bitch.
And then they wanted to give them this whole love dynamic, like, oh, it's the light versus the dark. They're balancing each other out. Like they have feelings for one another. Nah, man.
But the story didn't even write shit in to make that make sense.
It didn't. And then here's another thing I'm very confused about. And stop me if I'm wrong.
Look,
We saw that he was being trained not only by his mother in hindsight, but his uncle, right? And then from being trained by his uncle, he goes to being trained by Snow. So, with that being said, and not only that, but him,
wait. Who? We're talking about Kylo?
yes,
Okay, yeah. I thought I was like, are we still talking about Vader? No, yeah,
right.
Kylo. Yeah, so he goes being
So
trained by his mother, trained by Luke, and then
being trained by Snow. All right. So with that being said, and they have the whole thing where Luke tries to kill him in his sleep, which once again completely goes against the Jedi code and the character, but I'll nod and go along with it.
But you got to remember, like Luke vowed to create a new Jedi Order, not necessarily going by the standards of the last, because that's clearly because he understood that's what created the problem in the first place.
Exactly, but he still was a hypocrite about it because his own fear led him to potentially try to kill his nephew, and his nephew caught him.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, fear is what? Awesome. The path to the dark side.
Uh-huh.
So, once again, with the people who have trained him and the skill that he had as a quote-unquote warrior, someone please explain to me, granted he was injured, how Rey beat him in a duel.
God damn. I should have seen that's where you were going before you even got there. This bitch just picks up a lightsaber.
Total novice.
Probably didn't even know how to turn the shit on. Who's never been in a lightsaber battle before and beat a man that was that was trained by Leia Skywalker, Luke Skywalker, and was also trained by the dark side. Luke was trained by one of the greatest Jedi of all time. And this little bitch picked up a light. That's why he was so pissed off. Like, bitch, I am the shit, and your fucking plot armor is fucking up my movie.
Right? It's one of the things, like I said, it was all about them pushing an agenda. It was all, and once again, I'm not against the female lead. I'm not by no means. But if they're going to do it, like,
do it right and do it justice. Don't have it be a cop-out scapegoat kind of thing like they did with Rey. Because they didn't have any other Skywalkers to keep going with.
That has nothing to do with, listen, if they move away from the Skywalkers, they need to move completely away from the Skywalkers.
They're all dead. There are no more Skywalkers. They're all dead.
That's not the point. I'm just saying in general, like, as far as the main continuity goes of the quote-unquote Star Wars universe, with the whole thing with Obi-Wan and Anakin and that whole dynamic and everything that resulted because of it, the more they move away from that, the more they're successful. Like, everyone goes on about how Andor was great.
Yeah, same thing with Mandalorian. We all know that Ahsoka is going to be great. Bad Batch. So I feel that. I agree. Like, all the evidence shows, like, the more they get away from this,
right?
You know,
I mean, you could love or hate Boba Fett.
I'm in the middle.
Right?
You mean Mandalorian season 2.5? 2.5.
Oh my God. Anywho, so like the more they move away from it, the more they do, the more it works. Like, for example, they want to do this whole thing with the Old Republic. I don't want to see any more about the Jedi. I don't. I want to see the rise of the Sith.
I agree. Because it's not the first, what we've seen is not the first time the Sith have risen to power.
No. Let's see how Bane established the rule of two. Let's see the Sith Civil War, which destroyed that planet that you see in Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see the whole thing with Darth Plagueis and everything he did. Like there's a lot
Hell,
of shit they could
hell,
do.
the Mandalorian. Well, we're actually about to see that in this season of Mandalorian, but that would be nice too to see the Jedi Mandalorian War.
Right? Hell, I would take a show that was all about Sidious training Darth Maul.
Ooh. Because they already explained the Count Dooku situation in Clone Wars, so let's not touch that again. But no, definitely.
But see, that episode of that show where they explain that made sense to me. So Dooku knew this nigga had his hand in the candy dish all along.
Mm-hmm.
When he comes and G checks him like, yo, Maul killed Qui-Gon, that wasn't supposed to happen. Oh, you lost in the princess, so did I. We're even. Nah, my nigga, you can't play that card. That's not the way this works.
Yeah, that ass. And so that's how you know when he first meets Obi-Wan. When he makes that quote when he says, I'm really sad he's no longer here. And like you see it on his face, like he seriously meant that shit.
Yeah.
He's like, I can really use his help right now because he's like, yo, I done got into some dark side ass shit. Shit didn't go the way I wanted to, and I can't get out. I got myself into some shit. I can't get out. I wish Qui-Gon was here. He would be able to give me some good advice to how to rectify the situation.
Qui-Gon Jinn would never join you. Yeah, don't forget, he was once my student just like you were once his. Like, so maybe you didn't know him as well as you think you did.
Exactly. By proxy.
Right?
Evil by proxy.
Like you said to him, like Obi-Wan says himself to Qui-Gon, all he had to do was follow the rules and listen to the council, and he'd be on the council, but he chose not to. Same thing with Dooku. Like, and here's another thing I always thought that was very interesting is that they always talk about the whole thing with the Jedi Order and how people don't necessarily walk away from it. But Dooku did, and no one ever said anything about it. That was never explained.
Oh shit! Yeah.
I mean, unless I missed it somewhere, or it was one of those things where they said it, but it wasn't really said. But as far as I know, if Mace Windu says, "Oh, you know that he was once a Jedi. It's not. He can't assassinate anyone. It's not in his character." She said something along the lines of that. Like, I didn't know you could walk away from the Order willingly like that.
I mean, like, well, yeah, it's not yeah, it's not like it's not like a. I mean, yeah, it is a fucking cult, but I don't know. The whole point where it's like you can do your own thing, really, but if you choose to be a Jedi, you're a Jedi. Because look, Luke let Grogu walk away, let him make the choice. It's a choice.
Listen, man, I don't want to hear that.
Grogu should have took the fucking lightsaber with him.
He probably did sticky fucking fingers.
Shit, that's crazy, bro. Luke gonna find another apprentice. Here, I want to give you this. Open it. It's gone. Grogu.
Right. Meanwhile, halfway across the universe, he's using it to cut a hole through a ship for him to walk through. Like, yeah, he's not gonna miss this.
Snacks. To get fucking snacks. Yeah, I can definitely see that. Cuts a hole in the hull of the ship, walks by out with a fucking frog in his mouth.
Right. So hold on, before we jump back into the Power Rangers thing, because I know that's something you want to touch base on. I saw an interesting theory that I thought was very, very interesting when involving Grogu's birth.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Please
So
continue.
there is a fan theory that states that Grogu's birth was a direct result of Anakin Skywalker's.
Go on.
It states that, as it's constantly said, that the Force is balanced. The Force has to always correct itself. It can never lean too far left or too far right. It always has to balance itself.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at the franchise forwards and backwards, so let's go backwards to forwards. If we go Kylo Ren, his balance was Rey.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Sidious couldn't kill Anakin Skywalker, so he turned him evil. So now you have these two powerful beings on the dark side. So Padme gives birth to twins, and Luke and Leia.
So they have two powerful beings on the light side.
Right. So it's been said that Sidious had manipulated the Force to create Anakin Skywalker in hindsight. So there's a whole dynamic that says, right as this happened, the Force balanced itself out and creates Grogu.
Because, and even then, the time frame matches up perfectly.
From the time to when he'd have been at the Jedi Academy to how old he is to what happened. So it's like remember,
Mandalorian, he is 50 years old.
Right?
And by my calculations, because I was actually talking with a friend of mine, and we actually were trying to do the calculations of, how long was that peace period, and before the First Order or whatever they call themselves popped up with Kylo, try to figure out how much time there was in between there and how long each person was in rule for. But it all matches up with Grogu's age, because if you look at Kenobi takes place 5 years after the events of Revenge of the Sith. 5 years after Order 66. Was it 5 or 10?
Kenobi, you said?
Yeah.
Kenobi is definitely, I want to say 10.
Yeah. And then, so now with that ending, and then now we look at Mandalorian. Mandalorian was 5 years after the Empire fell. So there's like when you base it all, the Empire was in power for about a good.
It's probably close to 20 years.
Yeah, because Luke was 20. Luke was 21. No, 19. 19. Luke was 19. Luke and Leia were 19 when it picks up in 4.
Right.
So that's 20 years, because essentially they were born the day that the Empire came to power.
Literally.
So that's 19 years. And then what would you say? How long would you say it would be between those 3 movies, between 4, 5, and 6?
I'd say ballparking it's at least 3 to 5 years.
Right. So now we add another 3 to 5 years. So he's about 20. Fuck, I'll just throw 25 out there just to round it like that. 25, then another 5, that's 30. Yeah, so Anakin was like 20, so add another 30 years to be 50 by the time we meet Grogu and Mandalorian. So it literally matches up from the day that they're both born. Damn, if Grogu was 50 and that small, how small was he when he was first born?
Well, that also depends on how was he born. Did he hatch from an egg? Was he
Manifested or
right?
I
Like
feel like his species would be hatched from an egg.
right? Like you see the shit crack open, all you see is the ears pop out, and then
Mm-hmm.
right
Yep. I can
because
definitely see that.
I want to think. So Yoda was what? Yoda was almost 1,000 years old when he died.
Yeah.
So it's
Yep.
like
Don't forget Yaddle. Don't forget Yaddle, because Yaddle was older than Yoda when we first meet her.
right. So if you balance it out, he's he's not so much 50 as he is like what would you say 10?
Yes. No, not even. Not even. So his current age is 50, yet he has the appearance and the actions of an infant, or essentially maybe a 1 year old. No, because he's walking, so that'll be 3. I'll give him 5. I'll give it a good 5. Between 3 or 5. So like kind of like the mental level of maybe like 3 or 5. So and then for Yoda to be as old as he is, let's just say it this way: for every 50 years, they essentially grow by 5 years.
Okay.
I think that would be a safe bet for like measurement on the Yoda species age. Every 50 years is 5. So let me do the math real quick. If Yoda was 1,000, I'm a little slow right now, people, so please pardon me. Let's see. Yeah, I'm doing a quick math for you, real quick. It's not really that quick, but yeah. Okay. Whoa, that's not it. Hmm. Trying to think. What would be the lowest? Yeah. So I was thinking, all right, well, let me break it down. So if we divide like 1,000, let's say divide 1,000 by 50, I'll make for 20 years for every 50 years. Am I correct on that, or am I just retarded?
Listen, I was following whatever you were saying. I didn't bother checking myself.
Damn. Uh, t- 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 Hmm. Anyways, people, point is, it lines up. Grogu being 50 matches up with Vader dying at 50, or so it fits, or at least essentially less than 50, because again he was 19. Luke was 19 when all that started, so 20s are like give or take a year or two. So again, the further away that they get from the Skywalkers, the better the content is, the better the stories are, less generic, less gimmicky they are. But now about this Power Ranger shit, bro. We were talking earlier, and you fucked up my childhood.
Me?
Yeah, started poking holes in my favorite Power Ranger movie.
I didn't say nothing. I just started pointing out facts.
No, but nobody asked you to point out the facts, and now I'm sitting there looking at this shit like, damn, how the fuck they fit all them cars in the bottom of that boat?
God.
Like, then some big ass cars.
He said, how could you be? Oh, that'd be, oh my God.
And then how did the cars survive Divatox's torpedoes? I'm telling you, what happened is they heard the cars, as clearly they're living. The cars heard the torpedoes coming, and it was like, transform and roll out. And that's how they survived. I swear to God, that's how they survived.
I'm mad you just did this, the Transformer sound effect.
I'm telling you, that's what they are. There's like they're what are they called? Minicons or minitrons?
I don't know, but
The
it's
little
funny as hell.
transformers that connect to them and become like they're part of their weapon or whatever.
Oh, I do know what you're talking about, but I can't think of the name of it.
I think they were minicons. I think they were called minicons. That's essentially what they are. They come together and make one big ass thing. You know, not like we haven't seen that before. Voltron Unite.
I've actually been watching that series on Netflix. It's actually pretty decent.
It is. It actually is. I started watching it a while back. I never finished it, but yeah, it's actually pretty damn good. It's dope. But now we look at the Turbo movie and compare that to the Mighty Morphin movie. Okay, we got more. Okay, we got more budget. Like, that's cool and all, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like Turbo felt like more of a Power Ranger episode than, which is why I liked it more. Which is why I personally liked it more. Don't get me wrong, I fucking highly enjoyed Mighty Morphin the movie, but I don't know. I like Turbo because it was closer to like the storyline of an episode. And then on the other hand, like Mighty Morphin was like a full ass blockbuster project. And like the suits were cool and stuff like that, but I don't know. I don't really, it didn't kind of make any sense to me. Cause it's like now, because they added new powers to the suits. Since when? Since when do they need heat vision to see the enemies? Or night vision? Like Aisha was like, "Oh, I got it. Tiger headlights." Like what? Should like, and then like the helmet got bigger. It wasn't like it stayed the same with some lights on the top. No, like it got bigger.
Oh God.
And this one that was the one, that one had Jason in it, right? Jason as a Red Ranger, right?
What?
No, that was Rocky, right? As a Red Ranger.
Yeah, that was
Rocky's Red Ranger.
Mr. Rocky.
Yep, that was Rocky. This man had a Dino night vision visor. For what?
The Power Scope.
Like, and then the fact that they just, I don't know. That's just that one scene alone. Check this out. So when they run into Dulcia, they getting their ass beat by the birds. The birds is beating their ass.
The Tango Warriors.
The Tengu. The Tengu are beating their ass. She does all that fighting and high-ying and letting it get their ass beat a little bit. When all she needed to do was take her poles together and apart and spin them.
Right? Yo, did you ever hear the thing about who was originally supposed to play that part?
Yeah, Shorty from SVU, and they did her
Yes.
dirty.
I when I saw that, I was like, really?
I would have been so down for that.
Her in that outfit. Woo.
Sheesh.
Yeah, boy. And that was
Mhm.
another thing, man. Could they have had her dressed any more scandalous?
For exactly, she living in the wilderness. Why would she not be more covered up? They got
she,
bugs, trees, twigs. She's literally walking through the bones of giant monsters. Why would she not be more covered up?
she looked like if she turned made one wrong twist, you were this close to seeing some hairs that you shouldn't be seeing in a kids movie.
Exactly. Exactly. It would have had all these little kids like, ooh, morphin' time. Like,
Bush?
what? Come on now.
They ain't talking about a president.
That. Oh man. But like all she needed to do, she dead ass sat there and let them get their ass beat, bro. Like, think about it. How long did she sit there and watch for? We don't know. She could have let that go from the beginning and just watched them get the shit kicked out of them. And they're like, I think they learned a lesson. All right, guys. Like, she could have been whistled and so they didn't get jumped. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff don't make no sense.
That's funny.
It's wild. To me, more stuff makes sense about Turbo than it does Mighty Morphin movie.
Well, it was one of them things like where the Mighty Morphin movie also is not necessarily canon.
Yeah.
You got to remember,
This is
if you
true.
watch the whole Ninja season, they went and spoke to Ninjar. Ninjar was the big blue dude. Now he trained him in the art of ninjutsu, and he sent him back to Earth with their powers. So it's like the movie's not really canon. The Turbo movie is.
Yes. Yeah, because the Turbo movie sets off Turbo. It's the transition from Zeo.
Right? Because they literally start the season of Turbo off with them recounting the movie.
Oh yeah, yup.
Because I want to say it was Adam talking to Rocky, and he's like, "Yeah, I can't believe I missed everything."
Oh yeah, because this dumb motherfucker spin kicked and broke his back. How do you spin kick yourself into a fatality?
Oh well, technically it wasn't a fatality because he didn't
You're
die,
right.
but
You're right. Into a brutality. I'll say a brutality. Everyone's like, yeah. Shattered his spine.
he woke up in all kinds of traction.
He was my legs. I can't feel my legs, Tommy. It's okay. It's okay. We got the power. Yeah, they got all this power. All they did, bro, ain't that some shit?
Oh, what they should have healed his spine and set him on the mission. Is that what they should have?
Exactly. Why they gotta leave their boy hanging? Damn, bro. Damn. I think I missed out on all the damn. Nigga said shift into turbo.
That has nothing
And
to do
then
with the whole thing with them turning the wheel to the right. It was.
I'm just like, who are they swerving from? They said miss me with the shit. Like that shit pissed. Oh my god. And then the amount of times throughout the show of Turbo, you see them miss the fucking lock on the thing.
Oh
You
my
see that
god!
he bend. Oh my god, it's just hilarious. But now, let's see. Now let's look at those two movies. Those two movies, and compare them to the last one that just came out.
Okay. Now, here's my thing. I actually liked that movie a lot. I would go as far as to say that I like that movie better than the original one. Granted, the original cast I was always going to have a special place in my heart, but still, it was just one of them things. For every one thing they did right, there was two things they did wrong. For example, I like the fact that they met in detention. I like the fact that they all had legitimate, actual issues. Like the whole thing with Jason being a fuck up and Billy being autistic and being bullied for it. Trini questioning her sexuality, and it's like, and having being at odds with her family because of it. Like, they had legitimate issues teenagers faced.
Yeah.
So that really made sense to me. It was just that, like, little things I was confused about. For example, all right, I got the whole thing with Rita being a ranger and Rita being corrupted by her power and falling to the dark side. Cool, makes perfect sense. The whole thing with her manipulating the gold to create Goldar didn't. If Rita was a ranger, why didn't Rita just call summon the Dragon Zord?
Oh, see.
She says it herself. Oh, the kids found their costumes in their dino cars. Well, let's give them something else to play with. Like, and then she summons the putties. Like, the whole thing with her being able to create the putties, that was never explained. How'd that work?
Yeah. So, what are the rules to? Yeah. Okay. They never established any rules to it at all.
Or here. Okay. For example, like when they're fighting the putties for the first time in their armor, and Jason pulls out his sword. That would have been a perfect time for like one of them, like Zach, to go, "Oh, that's cool. Let me try that." And instead of him pulling out a sword, he pulls out the power axe. Like, oh, this wasn't what I was expecting, but I'll take it.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, one by one, they realized each one of them had a weapon.
That really would have made more sense.
Right?
It would have made so much more damn sense.
Like, I like the fact that their suits were legitimate armor. I like the fact that, like, that made them them getting their power made them super strong and faster and more durable. Like, that made sense to me. Like, oh, we were hit by a train. How is it we're still here? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was cool. That made sense.
Yeah, that movie really wasn't as bad as I remember it.
Like I said, it was just one of the things. For every one thing they did right, there was something else they did wrong.
Yeah. Damn. I kind of want to rewatch that movie now, bro.
Right?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna. Yeah. And then the cliffhanger, just the cliffhanger right there, dude, at the end just killed me.
Oh, with the whole Tommy Oliver thing. Well, let's see. Here's the thing.
Yo,
once again,
hold on. Let me ask something to it real quick. You know what they were gonna do, right?
Shattered Grid.
No, Tommy was gonna be a female.
Oh God!
I saw it coming. I saw it coming. I think what they were trying to do is I don't know this, but this is just what I would do if I had ties with Saban, and people knew me and they had me in the cameo. I'm like, yo, I'll do the cameo. If I was Jason David Frank, may he rest in peace. I would have been like, yo, I'll do the cameo, no problem. But my daughter's the new Tommy Oliver.
Yeah, because they said it would have made things even. They gave them 3 girls and 3 boys. But it's like, all right, now, but that also changes the dynamic of things. Like, one of the things people didn't like was how they were kind of hinting that Kimberly and Jason had potential to be in a relationship. But everyone knows Kimberly's with Tommy. So Does that mean that Kimberly would have been revealed to have been a lesbian?
No, actually, because in the actual in the canon Power Rangers, Tommy and Kimberly actually never get together. It's actually Tommy and Kat that get together, and they have a son.
Well, Kimberly breaks up with him in like a Dear John letter, if memory serves me correctly.
Yeah. That shit was fucked up. Did my nigga dirty like that.
So he winds up moving on after that. So I hear what you're saying, or it would have been one of those things like where it could have kind of worked, but it's like, and here's another thing too. Like, would that version of Tommy been evil? Like, would it have gone more Shattered Grid where Rita comes back? Like, would Lord Zed have wound up popping up? Like, how far were they going to go with this?
That is a good question. That is a very, very good damn question.
Because, like, that whole thing, like, where she gets slapped and flies off into space, like, I leaned over to my sister and goes, $100 if she lands on the moon. Just being funny.
And sure enough.
Right?
Yeah.
Or, like, that was another thing, too. If Rita was a Ranger, why was she so shocked why was she so shocked that the Zords came together? Like I said,
I think they talked about that. I think they said that's something that their team could only achieve if they were close enough, but they never achieved it because their Green Ranger was never, really truly there. I remember them saying something like to actually combine the Zords, they have to like really become like friends or family or some shit like that. They had to be really, really close. But unfortunately, Bryan Cranston said that his team could never achieve that. Because at the end, he's like, your team has achieved something that mine could never. Shit like that. Bryan Cranston. Damn.
Like, I thought the whole thing with Alpha training them, but I thought that shit was hilarious. And them fighting the like, listen.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That scene was fucking hilarious. I like I said, the movie was enjoyable.
And I think it's also one of them things. Like, one, to my knowledge, a lot of them weren't really well known at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then two, they were still riding off the backlash of the movie. Of the last movie. Now, once again, I get it. There's a good X amount of years between them, but when you have a movie that's that bad as Turbo was, and my air quotations, it's always going to get compared to the movie after it. Like, for example, did you watch The Dread with Carl Urban?
No, I did not. But real quick, before you jump to that, I actually find out that there was actually supposed to be a Time Force movie. Time Force wasn't so. They're actually going to make a Time Force movie, but because of how bad Turbo did, they scrapped it.
See,
and that's bad, man. That's crazy. And I think that's what's scaring them this time as well when they're setting up this new movie. Hasbro setting up this new Power Ranger movie, and I think that's what's scaring the shit out of them too. They're like, damn, every Power Ranger movie so far has not done good unless it had the massive, huge ass budget.
Well, budget is nice, but it's also one of the things like, you can't beat a good story. Like I said, I love the fact that they had legitimate issues. I like the fact they were from all different walks of life.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that really wasn't done well is that just like the Ninja Turtles, how they all had different personalities, to me, they should have all had different fighting styles. Like, all right, you had Justin, you had Jason, who was the captain of the football team, who wrestled, shit like that. So, all right, he should have been like a predominant, like, say he'd been like a predominant wrestler. Like, Billy was autistic, so say he was like a boxer or a counterpuncher.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I can definitely see Jason fucking suplexing one of the putties.
right? They could have
Wait,
like
that was the move. That was like the signature damn move with the fucking suplex.
Goldar, yes, but still, I'm just saying, like it should have been done better, and it wasn't.
I agree because they all did kind of have their, especially with the fucking Zach. Hip Hop Keto. If you want to really make it close, like shit, we haven't even talked. We haven't even said anything about the Black Ranger yet.
Oh yes. Hip hop keto. That definitely should have been in there.
Well, in him, he was dealing with his mother or grandmother,
It
where
was his
she was
mother.
like sick. His mother was really sick. Like, dude, that's fucking deep. That's really deep. So now he has to, he's in the process of trying to keep his mother alive while also finding out, hey, yo, by the way, so I'll let you know, you got to keep the rest of the world alive too.
Nigga, I'd have hit a bank so quick. I'd have been dressed.
Soon as he said, you have powers now, I'll be back.
I'd have hit the bank so quick. Ran down the street with a big ass bag of money, and never saw my ass again.
Fuck it, I'm taking mine, bro. Were you super strong at that point? Now I'm taking a whole safe. I'm taking it all.
Like you'd have had people, you'd had forensic people and cops looking at that video, like, what the comic book
But
shit is this?
these Ninja Turtle looking ass motherfuckers. What? He's just walking off with a safe. Yeah. There's one thing I feel like that I didn't like. I feel like I think you touched on it a bit too. It's like though the movie was serious, I feel like it didn't have enough comedy in it. And the comedy that it did have in it got a bit dry at times. But other than that, like I said, I feel like I personally truly enjoyed it. I thought it was funny, thought it was fun. And I honestly really did look forward to seeing what they were gonna do next and continue with, but unfortunately they did not. Now Hasbro has it. I believe Lionsgate is the one that did the either Legacy or Lionsgate or the ones that produced the last movie. So we got to see what Hasbro is going to do now.
I
would say
want to say it was Lionsgate.
I would not mind a Universal Power Ranger movie as long as they don't try to do no connected universe. Because last time they tried to do connected universe, they let Tom Cruise fuck it up.
Oh my god.
Yep. Yeah, that was
You're getting your Dracula sequel. Will you just be humble and sit down?
honestly, yes. I'm really excited about that. That movie was really good. I hope they don't muff it up. Like I said, I feel like The Mummy was a misstep. Was a very, very big misstep. But it was a misstep that they could have recovered from.
Well, once again, the question I'm going to ask is, was it them pushing an agenda?
No, it was Tom Cruise pushing his agenda of I'm Tom Cruise. Because that's what happened. They had to change the whole script. They wanted Tom Cruise to be the lead character.
So hold on. So give me the premise of the movie because I don't know.
Lord Jesus, give me the strength to give him the premise of this movie. Okay, so, all right. You got Tom Cruise and his boy. They're a part of the military, but they're corrupt soldiers. And what they actually do is while they're in the Middle East, they'll wander off somewheres in their downtime, private time, and they will raid tombs and sell, this stuff for money. It's in the money, so they have money. They were thieves, tomb raiders, and so they end up, they're about to hit an airstrike or whatever on this one spot, and as the airstrike hits, it ends up like opening up a cavern into this pit or whatever. And so that's how they end up finding the mummy's tomb. Ends up imprinting on them. Come to find out they're actually their sergeant ended up following them or whatever. They end up getting found out about what they were doing and shit. So, but they had just uncovered this, so they had to bring it back. So now he's in handcuffs on the military plane with the thing there. So the mummy ends up coming to life. Everything else after this was because the mummy bitch wanted Tom Cruise. So Tom Cruise gets essentially recruited. He gets recruited by this paranormal investigation team, essentially, who's headed up by, I believe, Russell Crowe is the one that played Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, which we never get to see, by the way. So all in all, he's running from the mummy, whatever. She's causing havoc and shit. In the end, he's like, fine, you want me? You can have me. And so he ends up taking over. He ends up getting taken over by the spirit of the mummy. But he has control somehow. I don't know. Strange. It's weird. And that's the end of the story. And now he's been riding the earth, staying in the desert and shit because he has the power of the mummy and shit. You see him riding on a horse, and as he's riding on a horse, he has a big ass sandstorm following behind him. And we hear nothing else about this paranormal society. We never get to see Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde really do anything. We didn't really see Russell Crowe do shit either. So it was just a shitty movie overall. Literally, he spends 90% of the movie running. Most of the movie's running scenes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
But now, with that being such a bad flop, such a bad movie, I feel like they still could have recovered because everything else they had to go with it was already good. They had Wolfman. They dropped Wolfman a few years before that. Dracula Untold. Those were two great movies.
Oh, I love the Wolfman with Benicio del Toro.
Oh yeah, I loved it. I thought it was absolutely amazing. I think they thought they did it super super well. And Dracula Untold, I thought it was dope. I thought it was really good. And then only people that they're missing is Frankenstein. So Frankenstein's monster, let's clarify. Frankenstein's the doctor. And who else? There's somebody that they're missing.
They said they had Dracula, they had the Wolfman, Frankenstein's monster, they would have had the mummy. I mean, you could go like Invisible Man or something along the lines.
Invisible Man. Yep. Yeah, Invisible Man is actually the last one. So all they were missing was an Invisible Man movie and Frankenstein movie. Yeah. And then somehow would have had them all team up for some random get together. Like, fucking, you got, since Tom Cruise in it, Tom Cruise is going to be the one leading it. You got Tom Cruise standing in the front of the damn, yeah. Boo, but I give him the respect because he actually does all his own stunts himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why he's so damn injured. Anyways, but Yeah, you got Tom Cruise and the Mummy saying at the top of the table, "We got to stop these bad guys. These other monsters are making us look bad. We got to come together as a family." It's essentially would have been a Fast and Furious fucking movie with Universal monsters. I saw it coming, so I'm glad it didn't continue. I'm so glad it didn't continue.
I mean, we already saw that sort of in the League of an Extraordinary Gentleman.
But they did it so well. They did it so well. That movie was fucking great. And not only did they bring in the monster universe, but they also brought in Captain Nemo.
Uh-huh. Well, that's because all those characters were all those characters are based off literature, but yeah, Dorian Gray, all of them. I thought it was all good.
What was it 40,000 Leagues Under the Sea? 30,000 Leagues Under the Sea? Yeah. And it's the same thing with Alan Quatermain. Yep, it was all like literature books and shit like that. But again, it was dope because they used each individual character and like it all melded together and they all helped each other build a rapport and then kind of find out they fighting themselves. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I highly recommend watching League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It's actually on what, HBO Max right now?
I believe so.
Yeah. So go check that out. I'm telling you, it looks like it's gonna be real good. But with that being said, we have gone quite over our usual show time. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been an amazing time. I've actually had a great time. And I'm super excited for what's coming next. Got a lot more for you guys.
Buckle in, motherfuckers and motherfuckers.
Motherfuck X as well, for those of you who don't identify as or.
Yes, thank you, Power.
You're very welcome, good sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned next time because I'm telling you guys, the next one's gonna be fun. We're gonna break down next one. We're breaking down the actual Fast and Furious franchise. We're going to go movie by movie, cinema sin style, and absolutely rip it apart and rip it a new one because I agree. There's been more going on with that movie than there needs to be. At the end of the day, when you decide to send two black people to space, you deserve to get ripped up.
Oh my god.
Oh man. But ladies and gentlemen, that has been the Super Breakdown. I'm your host, Power Maximus. And you have had the pleasure of hanging out with the one, the only Lord Triage. Stay tuned for the Sunday after next, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be here, coming to you live from WMG headquarters. Peace.
Peace.